Trevor Lawrence, I assume you know by now, but possibly not. There were some murmurs about him getting a new contract, and it has happened. Trevor Lawrence agreeing to the riches of Solomon and a bunch of his friends. A 5-year deal, $275 million, the extension in Jacksonville. Of course, it's not all guaranteed, but most of it is. $200 million in guaranteed money, almost as much as my deal here with Fox Sports Radio. And for Trevor Lawrence, it includes a Bafo Sacco $142 million at signing. Lawrence picking up a $37.5 million signing bonus, and then he'll get a bunch of the other money as well right away. So the deal starts technically in 2026, meaning that Trevor Lawrence is handcuffed to the Jacksonville franchise. Now, they're gold handcuffs through 2030. So let us discuss the question. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Has Trevor Lawrence done enough to earn this massive Jacksonville payday? So I've got Bumpkins, Concierge, and Tropicana. And we will combine all of these things and give you nuggets. Not chicken nuggets, nuggets of wisdom is what we're going to provide. So to answer the question, has he done enough? Well, the obvious answer, thumbs down on that. But I'm not the one paying him. It ain't my money. But Trevor Lawrence, I look at him like this. He's still in the beta testing phase, and it ain't going well, right? The early results have shown there's a lot of glitches. There's thingamajigs that are not going right here. He's half the man he was supposed to be coming out of Clemson, billboarded as the Messiah, a Michelin star chef coming out of college, and instead he has been a line cook. Now, you need line cooks. Line cooks are important, but they don't get paid as much as a Michelin star chef. That's just the way it works in the kitchen game. But just half the player. Really? Now, what is my evidence? My evidence is the eyeballs, my bifocals, and the stats. Trevor Lawrence is the NFL leader in fumbles and interceptions per game. And if you break the numbers down, there are absolute turd burgers like Danny Dime Store quarterback Daniel Jones, the Vanilla Vic, Mac Jones, who's the backup in Jacksonville, and my guy Gardner Minshew, the vagabond quarterback now with the Raiders, who have better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. So why did he get paid? I'm going to tell you. And I'm never wrong about these things. When I give it a take, I'm never wrong. The reason Trevor Lawrence got the bag is because of bumpkins, country bumpkins, the people running the Jaguars front office. I mean, tell me you're a hillbilly without telling me you're a hillbilly. The Jags front office suffering clearly from an inferiority complex. There's no other way to spin this. Trevor Lawrence's performance on the field has been second rate. The guy doesn't deserve the contract. I know we're in a time where everyone's getting paid. Whee! You get paid, you get paid, it's great, wonderful, wonderful. But when you pay someone that hasn't earned the money other than his draft status, right, it shows that you are insecure. It shows that you have low self-esteem. And it's the NFL's answer to the New Orleans pro bouncy ball team paying that fat-ass Zion Williamson when he got the big contract. And it goes back to its roots. And at the core, it's FOMO. It's fear of missing out. And the Jacksonville football team, they're not really crazy about Lawrence, but they're concerned that if they don't extend him and somehow he leaves and goes somewhere else in a couple years, he'll then become great in Dallas or Team X, and there's no way they can allow that to happen. There's also no way he's earned the money. Even his parents would say he hasn't earned the money. All right, now, page 2. Speaking of unhappiness around the NFL, Alvin Kamara, Dateline New Orleans, he is wrangling with the Saints over his contract, skipped out on some workouts. How does this one play out? So I activated the MALLER think tank on this, and I have determined that the New Orleans Saints, since Kamara's not happy, he's got this year and then I believe no guaranteed money after that. You need to have a come-to-Jesus moment, which will work in New Orleans, which is squarely in the Bible Belt. So you have a come-to-Jesus meeting with Alvin Kamara. And a guy, as my grandfather would say, has a lot of chutzpah. Right? He was caught on tape beaten the crap out of some dude at a casino in Vegas, got away with it, and now he's flexing and he has the audacity to demand more dough for a middling Saints team. So if you look at the Saints and the long-term forecast, my advice, I would advise the Saints to get together with Kamara and then visit the travel concierge and send him into the transfer portal. Kamara turns 29 this summer. Now, that's not old in real life, but we all know if you read the fine print when it comes to running backs, he's getting real close to the use-by date. Real close. Not the purchase date, the use-by date. So what happens, you start getting some mold there. It doesn't go well. So if I'm the Saints here, I'm like, well, let's put out some feelers. Let's call the Cowboys up. Cowboys don't have a running back. Hey, how would you like Alvin Kamara? Contact Kansas City. They don't really have a running back, and they've won the last 2 Super Bowls. What do you think? You want Alvin Kamara? Come on. New Orleans, all I know for sure is New Orleans has Derek Carr at quarterback. And that is the international sign you're not trying to win. When you have Derek Carr at quarterback, you're just happy being in the middle, right? The Saints can miss the playoffs with Alvin Kamara or without Alvin Kamara, and he's a running back, and running backs are replaceable. They can win about 8 or 9 games, be somewhere in that 7, 8, 9 win territory without him. So if he's complaining, if he's not happy, get out of here. All right, last word. We go now to the court system in Ohio. That is where former Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar, I'm doing this for Dick and Dayton. Former Browns quarterback, he calls the last hour. You probably don't know who that is if you only listen to the beginning of the show. One of our whack pack callers from Ohio. So former Browns quarterback Bernie Kosar, news came out this week. We knew he had lost his job as the conduit. He wasn't like the play-by-play or color guy for the Browns. He was on the pregame show, the radio pregame show. He lost his job last year very dramatically because the Browns fired him. He had violated NFL rules by placing a ceremonial wager on some betting app in Ohio, and he is now suing the media company that set all that up, at least what he claims set it up, and alleging that they forced him to make that ceremonial bet. So how much does Kosar want? He would like $850,000, and he also wants another $25,000 to pay for his slimy attorneys. And so damages in excess of $850,000, so even more than that. So let's break it down like this. Bernie Kosar, legend of a different era in the NFL, way back in the 80s. Kosar suing over the bet that he made, ceremonial bet, got him fired by the Browns. Does he have a case? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I am not a lawyer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express recently, so here's my take on this. You can sue almost anyone for almost anything. We all know that. It's the American way. Sue, 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 sue. The real question is not if you can sue, it's whether you have a winnable case. And based on a minutes-long MALLER investigation, Bernie Kosar does not have a winnable case. He signed a bad deal. Who goofed? I've got to know. Methinks Kosar's advisors, based on what I have been able to access on the interweb, this is elementary, is what it is. And as they say at Tropicana, occasionally the juice is not worth the squeeze. For example, if you have a pretty dependable job that you like and you're a franchise legend and you're with the Cleveland Browns pregame radio show and you think that's an important job, you probably don't want to take a side hustle with a media company that will end up screwing you over with a contract and having you do something you shouldn't do. And Kosar should have known not to do it, and somebody in his inner circle messed up. They dropped the bag, and as we know, ignorance is not an excuse, and someone should have told him he should have known better.